ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। हरि ओम। Questions on Geeta Chapter 15. Open book test. Please keep open Holy Gita book by Parama Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda Ji. First question. Complete the following verses with correct spelling. 1. यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं डैश 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 डैश. Second, dash 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 स सर्वविद भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत. Third, ऊर्ध्वमूलमधःशाखं डैश 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 यस्तं वेद स वेदवित्. Second question, rectify and write down correctly. A. इति गुह्यतरं शास्त्रम् इदमुक्त्वा तवानघ एतद्बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत. अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां गेहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्. उत्तमः पुरुषस्त्वन्यः परमात्मेत्युदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य बिभर्तव्यय ईश्वरः. This was C. And D. यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त चेतसः. E. अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखा गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधच्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके. F. ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गतान् निवर्तन्ते भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणे. Question 3. Match the pairs. A column. 1. सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टः. 2. कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते. 3. सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः. 4. यस्तं वेद स वेदवित्. 5. तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये. कॉलम बी. ए उसमें क्षर सर्वाणि भूतानि. बी पुष्णामि चौषधि सर्वाः. सी यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी. डी छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि. ई मत्तः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमुपोहनं च. ट्रू और फॉल्स और रॉन्ग. 1. अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृता तस्य शाखाः ममैवात्मा जीवलोके जीवभूत्वा अधिष्ठाय मनश्चैवं विषयानुपसेवते. 4. प्रसंगशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा. 5. यो मामेवं सम्मूढो जानाति. Fill in the blanks. A. न तद्भासयते. B. वेदांतकृत डैश डैश चाहम गच्छन्ति डैश 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 पदमव्ययं तत्. D. डैश 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 पुरुषस्तन्यः. E. तद्धाम परमं डैश डैश. Question 6. As a breeze takes away fragrance. Explain the principle. Question 7. Which words in chapter 15 tell that the world doesn't really exist? Elaborate a little. Question 8. What does the seekers with the eye of knowledge see? Question 9. Where do the striving yogis behold the soul? Question 10. Where does the Lord enter as the gravitational force, and what does he do there? Question 11. In all the above questions, which verses of 15th chapter is excluded? Question 12. Write your favorite verse from this chapter. Form a question on it and answer it. Where is God as per the 15th verse of this chapter? In which verses of this chapter a grand vision of the universe is described? Question 15. What, as per verse number 3 and 4, should be sought after what the seeking began? In which entity one should take refuge? Question 16. What does the word kudastha denote in this chapter? Refer verse 16. Question 17. Which words in chapter 15 depict sadhya, sadhana, sadhaka, siddha and siddhi? Question 18. Which words in this chapter indicate 9 values of eligibility, that is sadhana chatushtaya? Question 19. The references of verses in this chapter are found in those of earlier chapters. Locate some of them. Question 20. How is the verse-wise thought development or topics covered in this chapter? Question 21. Analyze the 5th chapter for Shravana, which means तात्पर्य निर्णय. Based on beginning and conclusion of the text. The point repeated. Novelty known only by Shabda Praman. Result of the study. Eulogy meaning praise and criticism for the desirable and undesirable point, and illustration or logic. Question 22. Trace the words of this chapter to their source in Upanishad mantra. Question 33. Question 22. Question 23. Write in your words the gist of this chapter in brief. Question 24. Why is this 15th chapter chanted before meals? Question 25. how you can practically live the thoughts in this chapter. Question 26. Express one of the ideas in this chapter in your own way. You may draw, paint, compose, sing, act, dance, talk, etc. Question 27. Verse number 12 to 15 of 15th chapter has some link in between them. Try to find out the inward direction of attention based on the examples in it. Question 28. Why the word Shri Krishna calls the devotees of Purushottam Sarvavit? The question 29. Jiva, Jagat and Ishwar are referred to in this chapter by which names? Question 30. Decide the Anubandha Chatushtay of this chapter by writing down the words that depict the fit student adhikari, subject Vishay, outcome of the study Prayojan, and the process to gain the result Sambandha. Question 31. Vedavit word comes twice in 15th chapter. Find those verses and tell the reference to context of Vedavit. These were the questions. Now, answers to the open book test on Geeta Chapter 15. Question 1 means now answer 1. 1. Yatantopyakrutatmano nainam pashyante chetasah. That is 15.11. Second, Yomamevama Sammudho Janati Purushottamam 15.19. And 3. Ashwatham Prahuravayam Chandansi Yasya Parnam. Question 2. Rectify Question 2. Rectify and write. First, Guhyatamam Mayanagham. Second, Deham Ashritah. Third, Pachamyannam. Fourth means third, because those first and second words come in the same. 3. Pashyantya chetasah. And 4. Yasmin and Tameva. These are the answers to question 2. Now question 3. 1. सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तस्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च. 2. क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते. 3. पुष्णामि चौषधिः सर्वाः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः. 4. छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित्. 5. तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणे. 4. All five couplets are false and or wrong. Question 5. Fill in the blanks are Surya, Vedavit, Amudha, Uttamaha, and Mama. Question 6. The soul gently leaves earlier body with mind and organs, similar to the mind that similar to the wind that carry scent from the flower at the time of the death. Satvika body is similar to the mind that carries scent from the flower at the time of the death. Subtle body moves. Question 7. न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा. The form of the life tree is not perceived. As such, neither its origin, nor its foundation, nor its end, nor its sustaining, nor its end, nor its resting place. It springs from the ignorance of the reality. It ends on the realization of the self. It appears only as long as vasanas function. Pashyante jnana chakshushaha. The person with the eye of knowledge sees means knows. The individual ego, jiva, who departs, stays in another body, enjoys and unites with gunas. Nada unites with gunas. Thus, the wise recognizes the infinite essence of life. Question 9. पश्यन्त्यात् मन्यवस्थितम्. The seekers striving for the perfection behind the Lord in the seekers striving for the perfection behind perfection beyond the seeker striving for the perfection behold the Lord in the self, the all-pervading consciousness is known to the heart in the heart by the pure and subtle intellect. By the pure and the subtle intellect. Question 10. The Almighty has entered in the earth as the energy to attain the Almighty has entered in the earth as the energy to attract, hold, and support all the beings. He keeps in place all the universe by the gravitational force, which is an expression of his power. Question 11. The excluded verse. यस्मात्क्षरमतीतोऽहमक्षरदपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रथितः पुरुषोत्तमः. अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रथितः पुरुषोत्तमः. Question 12. The Lord addresses Arjuna's anagha, meaning sinless, because his mind is pure. Devotion of Lord Krishna has made his intellect subtle and contemplative. Question 13. The God has entered in the heart of all the beings. Sarvasya Shaham Hridaya Sannivishtaha. The grand vision of the universe is described in verse number 1, 2, 3 of 15th chapter. 15 question. That state is to be searched going where one doesn't return. This seeking begins after getting attached from detached from the world. This seeking begins after getting detached from the world. One should have refuge in that primeval Purush from which came. Detached from the world, one should have refuge in that primeval Purush from which came activity in ancient time. Question 16. The word Kutastha denotes Avyakta, Akshara Purush or Maya. It is a changeless substratum for the ever-changing Kshara Purush. Question 17. Sadhaka. Bharata, one who revels in wisdom. Sadhya, Purushottama, the supreme being. Vedya, the knowable. Sadhaka, Bharata, one who revels in wisdom. Sadhya, Purushottama, the supreme being. Vedya, the knowable. Sadhana, asangata, detachment. Nirvana, moha, humility, clarity. Siddha, jnanachakshu, wise. Will. Kritakritya, fulfilled. Siddha, Vedavitta or Vedavitvam. Realization, omniscience. 18. Eligibility. 1. Ksharakshar Vivek, discrimination between the temporary and the permanent. 2nd. Vairagya, detachment. 3rd. Jitasanga dosha. Shama, anagha, innocence, peace of mind. Dhamma, decontrolled. Dhamma, control over changes. Adhyatma, nitya. Uparama, self-withdrawal. Tatparimargitavyam. Titiksha, forbearance. Dvandvair vimuktaha, free from the pairs of opposites. Shraddha, faith, Purusham prapadde. Samadhan, focus of mind. Yatanto yoginaschainam paschantatmanyavasthitam. 5. Mumukshutvam, burning desire for liberation, बुद्धिमान असमूढ़. 19. Connection. यस्मात् क्षरमतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः. And connected to verse 8.20, परस्तस्मात् भावान्यो व्यक्तो व्यक्तात् means अव्यक्तः अव्यक्तात् सनातनः. Also ममैवांश जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मय्यावेश्य ममैवां connected to प्रकृति विद्धि में पराम जीवभूतां महाबाहो ययेदं धारते जगत्. 7.5. Also verse 8.21 is connected to 15.6 and verse 15.1 is connected to verse 14.28. Thought development, verse number 1 to 3. Life tree, verse number 4 to 6. The highest abode, 7 to 9. Nature of Jeev, 10 11. Self knowledge, 12 to 15. Manifestations, 16 17. Decaying and undecaying spirit, 13 to 20. Knowledge of the absolute reality. Question 21. Essence of 15th chapter by sixfold factors, upakrama, upasamhara, abhyasa, etc. Starting word is Udbhav, ending is Bharat. Self-inquiry should be done. Repeatedly emphasize the self. Repeatedly the emphasis is given on the central theme of the chapter, that the big I, the self, is the supreme self and the cause of the world. 3. Apurvata. From Shruti Praman Dan alone is known the novelty of oneness of Jiva and Ishwar. Utkramati Ishwaraha. 15.8. Krutagutya Vedavid Phalam. The knower of the self becomes fulfilled. Question 5. Arthavat. Vimudha nanu pashyanti jnanajapusama yadanto yoginaschainam pashyanti manyavasthitam yadanto prakrutatmano nainam pashyanti chetasaha. 15.10. One who tries to restrain mind, discipline senses is praised, the indulgent is criticized. Upapattihi. Example of a tree reflection toppled down in crystal clear lake water is given. Also a Vedantakat Vedavit is one of the logic of Yoyat Karta Satajna, the creator. Knows the thing created. 15.15. Verse 22. The source of the first verse is tracked in Kathopanishad 2.6.1. Urdhvamulo vakshakha esho shvattha sanatana. Also 15.6. न तद्भास्यते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः is based on Mundakopanishad verse 2.2.10. न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्रतारकम् नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयमग्निः. Verse 23. Gist. The cause of the world is one God. By self-inquiry, the apparent world is denied. Then one becomes freedom and happiness itself forever. Question 24. This 15th chapter is chanted before meals because here the Lord says that the hunger, the eater, the nourishment of the food, and the digestive fire are all my manifestations. Question 25. I can practice the message of the chapter by seeing the sun, moon, earth, etc. as the expressions of the Lord, also by knowing the eternal consciousness which is above all. I can serve the world with God vision in it by all means. Question 26. The concept of Ksharapurush, Aksharapurush and Purushottam can be illustrated by drawing two intersecting circles inside one big circle. The intersecting area is undecaying person. The remaining part of both the small circles is decaying person. The big circle is the supreme person. 27. The verse 12 to 15. In verses 12 to 15, the Lord takes our attention from the gross to subtle and from outside to inside by indicating His presence in the sun, moon, fire, earth, food, vital airs, digestion, heart, memory, cognition, etc. respectively. Question number 28. Sri Krishna calls the devotee of the highest person as Sarvavit, all knower, because this Bhakta worships the one support on which the perishable and imperishable cosmos is superimposed. As one who knows the cause of all the golden ornaments as gold, may be called the knower of the essence of all the golden ornaments. In the same way, when the devotee understands the one ultimate substratum of the manifest and unmanifested universe, he is called as Sarvavit. Question 29. Here Jiva is equal to Akshar Purush, Jagat is equal to Akshara Purush, and Ishwar is Purushottam. Question 30. Anubandha. Question 30. Anubandha Chatushtay. Vishay, subject of chapter 15 is supreme knowledge. Guhyatamam Shastram. Adhikari, a fit student. Anagha, Amudha, innocent, sinless, seeker who rightly thinks. Prayojan, result of self inquiry in the is the liberation from the birth and death. He need not come back, non-nivartante. Sambandha, relation of the teaching of this chapter with the phalam is bodhya bodhak sambandha. Realization comes by the self-awareness experienced directly and immediately. Kritakritya fulfilled, the he becomes. Question 31. Vedavit word comes twice in chapter 15 of Gita. Locate the verses and write the context in which they are referred. Verse 1 and 15. Yastam Veda sa Vedavit, Vedantakrut, Vedavit eva aham. He is wise who cognize the projected world and the screen of which line and the screen on which it is projected. In 15th verse, Vedantakrut Vedavit eva is explaining the principle that the doer, that is a thing, is the knower. Doer of a thing is the knower of it. Yo yat karta sa tadnyaha. It is rule. Bhagavan has given Veda as an authorized means of knowledge. Because he is of the form of knowledge. He is Vedavit in the form of the knower of the scriptures also. Thus, answers of the questions on Geeta Chapter 15 are given. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai.